traders, a horrible day capped by the fact that this Dow is now punched up 300 pips from the floor of the trading range, the 5-minute trading range. So let's just recap, let's just learn from this. It is a tough couple of weeks. We had the biggest move while we were doing Traders Roundtable Monday of last week, and so far this week, with apart from this little burst up in the Dow, it's been pretty horrible, really. So this was a sell zone I had mapped out. So we crept into it late yesterday in the Dow. Just had not a lot of selling, but some selling into the close. I think it was worth a couple hundred pips. Yeah, it's worth a couple hundred pips. And here we are, just back, getting very close to yesterday's highs. So it's US inflation tomorrow, and that is going to be big because that has impact on whether we see whether we have a higher probability of a rate rise next month. March tends to be quite a popular month for the Fed to raise rates if they are going to raise it. So let's just look at that first. So with the Dow, let's just start off with the daily. Obviously, we got a couple of hours of trading here left. MACD has gone from a very overbought position to an oversold position. You can just see this crossover just beginning to turn green down here, and the histogram is picking up just as the market is picking up. However, we've seen that sell and that sell, so I'm looking for at least one more leg down, and so let's just see what we get. So just let this market come to us and find out. As far as the 4 hours is concerned, you can see we are still red because we're under these two moving averages. We're under the 50 and the 200, and literally just coming in contact with the 50-day moving average now. And like I said, getting close to yesterday's high. So the DAX, let's go through the DAX. This was awful from my point of view because yeah, a couple of stop outs, all through my own fault, all through trying to anticipate, classic novice mistake, trying to anticipate what the DAX should be doing, thinking it was going to follow through from the Dow, and the DAX has not been engaged with the Dow for a while. They've been doing their own thing for a while, so I'm just about to draw a trend line and it's no use. So pulling back from this and stretching this one out, you will see that in fact, I just want to peg that back a bit from that high. Let's go back to the Trump range. Oops. So that's November 9th low. So we've done 50% and a little bit more on the flash crash. And here we are trying to sit on this 12,200, and we've got a lower close. I very much doubt if the futures are going to pick up by the time we get, well, certainly not in the US section. Whether or not the Asian session picks it up, unlikely. So we could be seeing, we've got US inflation tomorrow, so that's going to be a game changer, where whichever way we break either side of that is going to give us a clue. Got this overhanging resistance, moving averages already crossed up here. It's next time we come and meet them, I think we're going to at least see some chop, if not some selling, while the market starts testing that. So not a lot going on, and we need to be careful. I need to be more careful and more sensitive to just how trapped these markets are in these ranges at the moment. and I started shorting the euro and just made a small loss. £11.80 up there, minus £11.80. So got short a little bit too low, took some off as it. I did catch a drop, one drop. The time of that was 12:30 to 1:30. Took some off, took a lot of it off, got back in it, and then got stopped out. So no joy, no joy. Let's just see. The reason why I like the short is because we're only just coming back in contact with the 20-day moving average. So what I was seeing was wave 1, wave 2. I was hoping to see wave 3 take us down to the long-term trend line, but maybe we'll see that tomorrow. Let's see. And you can see from the 60-minute chart, I've marked off this zone. What's that? That's the 50% and above. I don't know why I've given it such a big zone, so let's just take that off for now. If we start to break down through this trend line, at the moment we're holding it, then we need to short any retests of the underside. I did get 30 odd pips out of this pound yen, but this, we ended up sitting down here, potentially at the low of this channel. The low of the channel taken from the low of last Friday. So close above 150, and that could really get this going. But at the moment, there's nothing to cheer that up, to give that a leg up. And pathetic effort to, which similarly failed to even test the 50-day average on this 1-hour chart. All right, so a lot of nothing today, apart from a little blast up on the Dow, which was very late in the day. Let's look at the open trading range on the Dow. So this was the opening bar. The very next bar came and tested for 15. Then we looked as if we were going to roll over, breached above it, didn't quite do a gap fill, came back in, so we just wandered, and for some reason we've got this pickup. So so 1, 2, 3, 4 breaches. It shows you how awful it is to scalp. 4 breaches of the open trading range, and then when you do finally get the push through, there's no fade. So unless you were in on that, unless you just took a dip and closed your eyes, you weren't going to get that. I didn't get it. So you would have to be very hot on, very focused, and watching your screens for coming back at least every sort of half an hour or so to see if that could pick up. What time has it picked up? Just after 6 o'clock it broke through UK time. So into tomorrow, I'm going to be very careful about this DAX because it's just chopping around. Let's look at the 60-minute in a bit more detail on this. If I take the fibs off, you can see we're just pivoting around the Friday close. Sorry, the Sunday open, I beg your pardon, Sunday open. The Friday close is just under here. Yeah. So a lot of nothing. So the high of that range is 285, and we did about 95 pips above it, and literally a few pips below it. So that's pathetic. Really pathetic. So I'm going to leave the fibs off of that. It's just so awful. In fact, I'll put the fibs on the Friday's low and Thursday's high. It's not quite Thursday's high, but it's certainly a key area, rather than have fibs hiding what the action is. Let me take this off of here. So I'm just left with a 50 and 200 and the weekly pivots. We're trying to hold this weekly pivot. So it could be that we get, if the one scenario is the US inflation is good, the euro gets killed and tanks, and the DAX likes the fact that the responds to a weak euro. So if we come and find we're holding above 200, it's possible we might go and see 750. Possible. And that will take us into that, or close to that, resistance. So very little to report. I was watching the US dollar yen. That's looking, it's got a 127 extension. I love these 60-minute extensions. I did nibble on this. I got, what a weird coincidence. I got plus £11.10 on this and minus 11 on the euro. So I'm flat on the I should have kept this. I only took a penny position, as you can see. I took it off after 11 pips because the market was so bad. But I should have kept it. And so, right, I'm rambling. I've done 12 minutes of video, and you've not got much concrete out of it, concrete information out of it, I should say. So I will focus on the DAX again tomorrow, and if we can close above this 280, then it looks as if we can get to at least 500. Otherwise, if we're just messing around again with this little titchy range, then I will back off and have a look at what else we got. Data tomorrow is so got a lot of euro data right up until, get my pen, right up until 10 with GDP, and then we got this big inflation and retail sales. So yeah, interesting they put retail sales month on month with inflation, because inflation knocks the market. A good retail sales figure might neutralize it, because the market would like good retail sales, would not be so keen on a higher inflation number. Anything majorly different from that, and then that could have a decent impact on the market. Otherwise, that's it. So a splattering of euro data, no UK data, and then all this US data for Wednesday. So I'll leave it there, and let's have a look at a couple of other daily charts. The pound is pathetic. Two minuscule closes higher. Pound yen daily is, like I said, sitting back there on support. The FTSE is like the DAX, but it's probably marginally better than the DAX. Trying to attempt to hold that. Right, enough. I'll see you in the room tomorrow, but I'll be more cautious and slower to react tomorrow, so to try and guide us into a move if there's one to be had. Alright, bye for now.